Alrighty. So you guys can ask questions if you want. We're just gonna be going over some back testing with the new gasoline trader update. Okay, so it's the beta. Um, so far, from what I've been testing, the default settings are fine. I haven't changed a single thing. Um, the only thing I've been noticing is unchecking these bottom two triggers, so trigger 5 and trigger 6, ends up getting quite a bit more profit. Obviously, that probably is best for things like using an end of day drawdown, right? So using a trailing drawdown, you might want to add trigger 5 and leave trigger 6 off, or you could add both just to be safest. But I've noticed the gains from deselecting trigger 5 and trigger 6 quite a bit more over the long run. Um, so really that's it. I'm gonna just back test the October 22nd to current, and we'll see how that goes. Let me just disconnect this really quick. So yeah, I've tested trigger without the last two triggers, and I believe it was about 19 grand for this current period. I'm just going to test it again to make sure I get the same results. But yeah, it was pretty good. And then the same time with the trigger 5 on, I think was about 11 or 12 grand, and then with all the triggers on, it was about 12, 13 grand. So those are pretty similar. But without the triggers, they were they were quite a bit better. So um, yeah, let's connect to playback here. If you guys have any questions, you can unmute or you can just type it in the chat. It doesn't matter to me. Yeah, connect to playback here. We're gonna start on October 22nd, and we'll just hope that it doesn't freeze on us, because NinjaTrader does freeze quite a bit when you do back tests. So all the settings default, as I said, we have trigger 5 and trigger 6 off, and we'll enable it, and we'll see what kind of results we get through the back test. But yeah, it does look pretty promising. The only thing you really got to be careful about is that trailing drawdown, right? Because Apex does have that 90% off sale right now. Yeah, it already froze, didn't it? Apex does have that 90% off sale though. So I think like 150K account is right around $30. 50K account is about 16 bucks. So I have to restart NinjaTrader here. And reconnect. NinjaTrader is terrible with the back testing market replay. Like, freezes all the time. Even if you slow down the speed, it always seems to freeze.
Yeah, I have 5 problems with that too.
Yeah, it happens like all the time.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that, because I did get a bunch of 50K accounts, I'm hoping that maybe with one contract that the drawdown wouldn't be too bad. I guess I'll have to play around and see what happens with the triggers, like you said, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I can test this in one contract just so we can see.
Yeah, maybe that'd be nice. And yeah,
let me change that real quick. We'll just do one, and then we'll leave everything else the same. Yeah. All right. Hopefully it doesn't freeze, because usually it freezes every other time I try and do it, so we'll see. But yeah, since we're using the strategy thing with the ticks now instead of like a dollar amount, you don't actually have to change like anything besides the contracts, I'm pretty sure. Because with the dollar amount you had to like half all the triggers and stuff, but since we're just using ticks now, you won't have to do any of that. So that is nice with the update.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
I think from my tests you shouldn't get. I actually talked to BB3 this morning, and yeah, so actually right there you would have basically already passed the 50K account. So
That's pretty crazy.
after 3 days or
Yeah,
so, would have
that's
been, well,
pretty crazy.
just
That's awesome.
roughly. But I think BB3 said the biggest drawdown he had was like 4 grand, and that was over like the past 6 months of testing, and that was obviously with 2 contracts. So with the trailing drawdown, that could get pretty close for sure. If you had like a top step account, had that end of day drawdown on like bigger account, be a little different. But I think maybe going with a top step account, if you want to disable more triggers, would be good. But right now drawdown's about 1,700 or so. Or wait, no, it's not even that much. Yeah, 1,600. And you have about, what is it, 2,500 on the 50Ks. So, but obviously with the trailing, it could be a little higher than that. I don't think you would have lost an account or anything. But as I said, if you want to be safer, I would just enable the trigger 5 at least. I have both those triggers disabled, but I would at least enable one of those. So another big trade. So if my predictions are correct, we should end around 9 grand with one contract over the course of this time period, which is basically a month. So we were down about 1,300 and draw down again just then.
And once you pass a certain threshold with Apex, then there's no more trailing drawdown. I forgot what it is with 50K.
Yes, so 50K, you just have to get the like where the stop loss would be up to the account balance. So it starts at 47.5K as your trailing stop loss. So once that reaches 50K, then it stops. So you basically got to make 2,500 bucks, and then it'll
Okay,
stop.
right. Yeah.
So it's just that initial, couple weeks that you'd want to be careful.
Right. Yeah.
But then besides that, you could start even scaling up on a 50K. Eventually to where you're even maybe doing 2 contracts on a 50K, but you'd have to be have quite a bit of leeway there probably. So
Yeah.
also with the new update, the realized P&L does update every day. So yeah, you could set like a daily profit target and it'll reset for backtesting purposes, but the total will still show up here. So makes backtesting a little easier if you wanted to set like a daily profit target. It'll it'll be a lot easier to backtest with that. You guys were interested in backtesting that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So this point, one contract up about $5,000 after going on the third week. Now $7,000 because that was a huge trade. So that's what's nice about the update. I haven't even looked at the update until today, because I was gone all week this week. So it is nice though, very very nice. Big improvements. I mean, C3 actually made 16,000 on his PAs. 3 PA accounts made 16,000 in one day, which is nuts. I think he said his profit target was set to like 6K for a trade, and he ended up having 5,500 per account, which is absolutely nuts. So that man making me a little jealous that I missed last week, honestly. He's probably made 25 grand since he joined the Discord like a couple months ago. Crazy.
And by the way, yeah, like I want to do the same thing with all these. I've passed a good number of PA accounts, but my question is, I've had some pretty bad luck with trade copiers. You know, like I have Replicanto and Apex Trade Copier, but do you know if it would work to load the strategy like multiple times on the same chart, just one for each account? Like I've done it with other strategies, and most of the time it does work. But
Load multiple strategies on the same chart?
yeah, or so basically,
Like the same
you could go into this.
workspace or
Yeah,
same
same
chart?
workspace, I guess is what I'm saying. If you were to load the strategy and then select a different account, and do that 10 times or something, yeah, same workspace, I guess is what I'm saying. But you'd only have like one chart open at a time, to view everything, and you could just switch between accounts, and you can have the strategies tab open to see all of them at once.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can run like multiple different strategies with the same workspace, as long as you have different charts up or whatever. I don't know if you could have like different strategies on the same exact chart running, if that's what you meant. But yeah, I mean, I don't really run multiple strategies at the same time, so I'm probably not the best guy to ask. But so yeah, that ended up 9,100 on one contract from the past month. And if we go to check the trade performance here, let's see. So max drawdown was about 1,800, and that doesn't account for the trailing drawdown. So that just accounts for like if you had an end of day drawdown on like Top Step or something like that, then you could do that. Like if you had even a 150K account, it would give it a lot more room to be safe with that. Like if you had an Apex 150K, your threshold's 5K. So even if the trailing threshold moved up quite a bit more, you'd still be safe, and you would have passed the account with one contract. And if you had a Top Step 150K, then yeah, the actual most you would have been down at all on the account is 1,700, and you're allowed 4,500, I think, with Top Step. There is a daily loss of like $3,000 or 3,300 or something, but I don't think you hit that anyway, any day, which is nice. So yeah, that was just one contract there with the trigger 5 and trigger 6 disabled. About 68%.
Sorry, you're thinking that trigger 5 enabled might reduce the trailing drawdown or drawdown?
I mean, it should. Yeah, that's what they're there for. If you had the trigger 5, trigger 6 enabled, I mean, it would help reduce that trailing. Because with these trigger 5 and trigger 6 disabled, you could be up like 3 grand, and then it could come back quite a bit because there's no trigger to stop it.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, with that in mind, you might want to look at an end of day drawdown prop like Top Step, or just add the others, the other triggers. So we'll do the same test with both triggers enabled, and we'll see what happens with
That'd be
this.
good. I'm deep in these Apex now. I'm gonna have like 8 or 10 PAs pretty soon because I already. Anyway,
That's good.
that's where I'm at.
That's good. I'm not saying you can't use Apex. Yeah, I'm just saying got to be a little more cautious, I guess, with the trailings. It's still pretty profitable with all the triggers. I just think with having those trigger 5, trigger 6 disabled, you do catch those really big wins. But we'll see. So this is still one contract. One contract, both triggers enabled now. With trigger 5 and trigger 6, we were about 90, 100 in profit. So we'll see where this ends up at the end of this back test here. Mason, you have the 300 KPA that's no longer trailing. Perhaps that's gonna be a killer account. That could be a big move. Did you get that 300K from using the gasoline trader? No, personal. Yeah, if you have that that's already trailing, then yeah, that could be good. I mean, you could just use like one contract. So what's your account balance at? Like 307 or 308 or something? Yeah, so no longer trailing. You could just use one con. Because then, I mean, the trailing wouldn't be crazy on one con. And then, I mean, your loss would be a one con full loss would be 750 to 800 ish. And then a max win would be about 2 grand. And even if you had, if you had trigger 5, trigger 6 disabled, then yeah, that could give you a good amount of room there. Right now we're testing with all the triggers enabled. You can see it's still making plenty of money, but snowball that down the line. Yeah, like if you could make, let's just say it's a really good month, you make, I don't even know, 15 grand or whatever. Let's just say you get your account up to 320,000, then you could add 2 contracts, and then get it up some more. You could add 3. Just keep snowballing it, taking like little payouts so that you can still have plenty of drawdown. I mean, you could scale that account very quickly. I mean, like month to month, you could scale it. For people just joining, we're just testing the new beta with all the triggers enabled. Everything else is default. We just tested. We're testing one contract right now, so all the P&L is one contract. Everything's default here. All the triggers enabled. We just tested without trigger 5 and trigger 6, and we ended with about 9,100 in profit at the end of this period, 9,200-ish. So we're just comparing. From my test, I think not using trigger 5, trigger 6 is bigger profits. So yeah, I just bought like a take profit trader eval, but I didn't really realize till after I did that it is end of day drawdown for the eval, but the pro account or the PA account is intraday trailing. So it's just like Apex, but it costs a hell of a lot more money for a take profit trader account. So I could have bought like 5 Apex 150Ks for the price of the one, but with the sale going on right now.
I told you I didn't like them.
Yeah, I know. I asked too late though. I already bought it.
Oh, did you?
That's all right.
I only got a 50K, and that drawdown for the day is 1100. And I hit 900 loss the other day because I was screwing around.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, they'll cancel your account if you hit that end of day. Yeah.
Oh,
Or daily.
that's weird, yeah. Usually, you hit a daily loss and yeah, that just stops you from trading for that day.
Right.
So
You live to die another day, right? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so that's odd, I guess.
And
I emailed them. I'm
sometimes
like, it was an accidental purchase. My kid took my credit card. But
and then that 50 execution, sometimes when there's chop, I like to trade that.
yeah.
But they will cancel your account if you go over and you're not like
Yeah, they're
logged
just
into.
like, if you break any rule, you
Yeah.
get canceled. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're looking for an end of day firm, I guess I probably should have looked at this, but looking at UProfit has a pretty good. I've used UProfit before. They have pretty good. I like their stuff. They a little expensive, honestly, but they have end of day drawdown and daily loss. But I'm pretty sure the daily loss is actually an actual daily loss. It's not like that. And 2,500 target, so it's a little lower. Obviously. But yeah, the best one's obviously going to be Top Step for the end of day, because they have a daily loss as well, but that's an actual daily loss, and then it's just a max loss that they have or whatever. So yeah, it looks like that's the end of that period. Looks like about 7,800. So with both triggers enabled, made about 1,500 less than with trigger 5 and trigger 6 disabled. So far, this is over only 1 month, remember, so long term, not sure. Probably more of a question for
Did you get the drawdown numbers on that one?
Oh, I already X'd out of it.
Okay, no worries.
I forgot to do that. I don't think the drawdown number was any more than the previous, because I tested it earlier too, and it was like $2,000 or 2,500 on 2 cons. I gotta remember. I'll do that after this one. This one,
okay,
testing just trigger 6 disabled. So I think this is what BB3 uses. So just trigger 6 disabled. See if there's any difference. So with all the triggers, it was about 7,800. Without trigger 5 and 6, it was 9,200. And now this is just without trigger 6. We'll see if there's any difference there. I mean, there should be a difference, but see how big of a difference it is. So nice that we changed it to catch big moves. Very nice. Yeah, hopefully BB3 can keep improving this, but I mean, it's already very, very improved from when you guys first got it, which is good. And he's got more strategies in the works, which is working very good for 24/7 trading, basically. That's what he's been posting profits of in the channel, but that won't we'll probably release that eventually, but it'll probably be not for another month or maybe 2. Just want to give the gasoline trader some time, settle in. Don't want to overwhelm everyone with releasing a new crazy algo every like couple weeks.
Another thing you could test is using the daily stop or the daily target.
Do a test using the daily stop. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah, daily stop, daily like when we were back testing, the back test post results we've been posting
Yeah.
we were testing with 2000 daily stop or something, and like I was testing with the 2000 daily target. I don't know if that you guys want to test something like that, but that's what we were doing. So
What were you getting better results, you think, than just the default stuff?
I mean, yeah, sometimes. I mean, if it's like 2 plus 2000, you can either assume that there's been 2 smaller wins or 1 bigger win. So normally just stop after that. Like, seems more like what people would do in real life.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, we can mess with that a little bit.
Yeah.
See where this one ends up.
There's like 1 week in the middle of November contract that really sucks. I have no clue why.
I think I mean, I don't think any of them sucks. There was one day that it was like a 2000, maybe a 2000 something drawdown. That was
Yeah, I
over
think
one day, but
November contract that it does like one day that's pretty bad, but besides that, November contract seems fine.
yeah.
Like December contract is the month that's good.
Yeah. A lot better. I mean, big improvement, honestly, from, I mean, the old version was not even performing well during
Yeah,
this
the
time
old
period
version.
at all compared to this. So,
Yeah, and then there was the original version
yeah. Which still
back like
performed good, but I mean, not as consistent. This looks a lot more consistent to me.
yeah, the one that I was posting profits for like 5 months ago. That was didn't do so well during the war. So
Yeah. What did you like mainly change on this update?
this one, obviously there's that EMA filter at the very bottom. It's an EMA filter on the crude oil charts. Basically just looks to see if what the trend is like on the crude charts, because that's the whole idea, follow crude oil, right? And then just I switched the whole obviously the whole order system has been switched over to make it more A, consistent, and B, you can run strategies behind it now too.
Gotcha.
That's the idea. Everything's better for the lower volatility months in like August.
Yeah.
Didn't really change the outcome on like the high volatility October, November, December, so I consider that a win.
Yeah. Improve the worst months, keep the good months good.
Oh yeah.
Mason oh, I said that. Releasing every couple weeks is fine if we're paying monthly. I mean, releasing updates to the gasoline trader, we don't want to do that like every couple weeks just because everyone will get confused, and we don't want people like relearning everything, figuring out settings and all that every couple weeks. I mean, if we have like a huge drastic improvement, we'll release it, but I mean, it'll
Yeah.
just confuse
Also,
too many people if we keep releasing every week or something.
yeah, if you want to like check up on some updates and maybe get like an updated version, just DM me or something. I'd be happy to like share what I'm working on. And you
Yeah.
can, test the newer version out. Why not, right?
Yeah, just releasing to the public, obviously, like we had some people
Yeah,
like use
chaos is
the
testing.
use the beta that had the stop loss problem on like PA accounts, and
Yeah,
then blue PA accounts like when they were told it might not work, use on sim. So we just don't want that to
yeah.
happen to everyone. But
If you really want to test the new stuff out, yeah, feel free to DM me. Chances are I do have a new thing in the working, so no, I have no issue, sharing that if you really want to test it out.
so looks like max drawdown's the same, which it should be the same because the only thing the max drawdown's calculating is the total amount of losses it's taking. I wish they had a trailing drawdown thing on here, which would be pretty nice. But yeah, I mean, all the triggers, or what is this? Let me see. This is trigger 6 disabled. Everything else enabled. It's about 5,900 in profit. So that's the worst one yet. With all the triggers enabled, we had 7,900, and then with trigger 5 and trigger 6 disabled, we had 9,200. So it looks like to me disabling trigger 5 and 6 do lead to the best results so far, at least with the past month. That could be different, obviously, over the long term, but that's what the new contracts look like. So, you said you were testing a 2,000 daily loss. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's
Well,
2000. It's like it doesn't really matter what it is. Like 2004 is usually good, but that was the
let's do
old settings.
we'll do
2000, yeah.
well, we're doing one con, so we'll do 1,000.
Yeah.
Let's take off trigger 5, trigger 6. See if that changes anything. Should we add a profit target? Nah, we'll leave that off. Hopefully it keeps not freezing. That's all I'm hoping.
Oh, quick, turn off chart trader.
What does that do? Turn off chart trader.
It doesn't freeze as much.
Really? Why would that? I don't know why that'd make a difference, but
Yeah, me neither, but I've been able to test a lot without turning chart trader on. Trust me, it's a lot better for a freezing issue.
all right, good to know. Good to know. Yeah, but if you had the trigger 5, trigger 6 disabled with 50K accounts, and hopefully the trailing threshold didn't get hit. I mean, the drawdown wouldn't have gotten hit, but if the trailing threshold didn't get hit, then you would have ended last month up like $6,000 in your PA account if you left it on like this 24/7 or whatever. With the default times, you would have passed your eval within like a week, and then made $6,000 on the PA. So you could have, I mean, over 20 accounts. If you did that, then obviously pretty nuts. But I don't know if that's very realistic or not. That'd be pretty risky. Be nice if you could do a 150K account too with one contract, because I mean that test was $9,000 in the month, and you have a lot more room of trailing drawdown, which is nice.
Yeah, I only run 2 accounts, one for my net NQ strat and one for this account or this strategy. So
Oh.
even I don't run crazy. That
So
crazy of a. Yeah, I like to diversify a little bit, right?
yeah. So stop loss hit on that day, $1,200 loss. What do we set it at 1,000? So there was some slippage there. That's okay.
So I got that 150K evaluation on November 7th, and it's already made 3K.
Nice. And
I
that's
haven't suffered any losses.
you haven't taken any losses with the gasoline trader?
No,
Wow. Are
it
you
looks like
only
there was a
enabling it
loss.
certain days though?
I just do what you guys tell me. You tell me not to run it on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I don't.
Nice. I think with this one, I mean, BB3 will have to tell you for sure, but I think you could run it basically every day.
Oh, okay.
Unless I could be wrong, but this one's a lot more consistent. So
Yeah, I don't know. Wednesdays are still kind of a coin flip, so if you want to cut down risk, probably don't run it Wednesdays. Oh yeah, another thing I found out. If you have like a holiday coming up in the straight in the middle of the week, I don't know. It does based on like back tests after like holidays like July 4th and things like that. Volume tends to drop dramatically just because I assume everyone's on vacation. So it's kind of optimal not to trade like a few days after the holiday, maybe one day or something. Because yeah, the post holiday days are very low volume and very much more risky than if you would just trade normally. So
yeah.
federal holidays, you can trade on the federal holiday. Usually they're fine. It's just like after the federal holiday when everyone's kind of drunk, when you tend to get a lot of weird movement. So
It's like this week
just
being Thanksgiving week, a lot of people might just be taking the week off. So, I mean, volume's most likely going to be pretty sporadic throughout the week, not as consistent as usual. I think the market's open normal hours Monday, Tuesday, and then I'll have to double check, but I know Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is a little different, obviously. But like, yeah, this week definitely is going to be different. So just keep that in mind there.
Yeah, I think the day that it took a loss, I wasn't sitting on my hands and moved the stop loss. So it was $167 or something, but
Gotcha. And that's with 2 cons, you're up 3K, right?
yes.
Yeah.
I don't mess with anything. I just basically just enable it.
Yeah. I mean, that's still good. Can't complain.
Except for the times. I did adjust the times, but that's it.
Yeah. Can't complain with something making 3K for you. So
Yeah. So that's basically running it 3 days a week for however long. It did make like
wow.
$500 or $700 on a 100K account, but then I wanted an account just fresh for this.
yeah. So that's done now. Looks like it is a little less profit than without the stop loss. I think it must have been the day that it actually stopped us out. It took one more trade to make back some of the gains. But it's slightly under. It could be a good safety protocol. I think without the stop, we were at 9,200, 9,100. So, an extra 400. But obviously, if that trade lost, then you would have been down quite a bit. So
I can't see it. How much is it?
8,700.
Okay.
So basically the same, about $400 or $500 difference. Max drawdown now. Let me change this actually. Should be the same. Yeah, 1,700. That's not going to change. Because it's just showing total loss. So yeah, if you had like a, well, I guess if you had a top step 50K account, they have a daily loss of 1,100. So I mean, you could set it to that and pretend you're doing a top step account and test it. But yeah, gotta be kind of careful about that. But yeah, I think that's probably all the testing I'm gonna do there for today. But so I guess things to keep in mind. The best results we had was no stop, no total stop loss here, and then we had trigger 5 unchecked and trigger 6 unchecked, and that netted us the highest gains at like 9,200. And then we had trigger 5 and 6 enabled, and that gave us the second highest total, about 7,800 profit. And then when we had just trigger 5 enabled, it only gave us, I think it was about 5,800 profit. So yeah, the triggers play a big role, and you just gotta be careful with the trailing thresholds. But anyway, those numbers are all with one contract. So if you had a 2 contract, you double everything, it'd be about 18, 19 grand, ranging from 15 grand to 18, 19 grand roughly, which is quite a bit. So
you disabled profit triggers 5 and 6?
yeah, and that netted the highest results for the past month.
Okay.
But you got to be careful though, because that disabling these, it could run up like 3 grand and then come back on you quite a bit. So that's kind of just swinging for the fences, right? Home run shot. If you wanted to be safer, I'd put all the triggers on, because that netted us the second highest at like 7,800, which was about 1,500-ish less than having them disabled. But that 1,500 could have been made back from not having a giant drawdown on the trailing threshold. So if you want to be safer, I'd enable 5 and 6. And
Okay.
then if you wanted to try and, maybe you have a bigger account, end of day drawdown, something like that, you could try disabling them. But just enabling trigger 5, disabling trigger 6, netted us. That was the worst results there for the past month. So everything else is default. So yeah, I'm gonna call it there. If you guys have any questions, me and BB3 are around in the DMs if you want to DM, or in the chats or whatever. But I also recorded this, so if you want to rewatch it or whatever, I'll post it on the YouTube. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna go. I'll be around most of the week this week. Obviously it's Thanksgiving week, so I am not gonna be around the whole entire week for like trading and stuff, because I mean, you guys shouldn't be around for trading the whole week either. But yeah, we'll be around Monday, Tuesday. So you guys have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll chat with you guys later.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Yep, see you guys.